Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 6 Japanese cruiser, Aoba. It has 6 main guns, 4 secondary guns, 8 torpedoes, 38 AA guns, a top speed of 34.9 knots, total health 26,300, modules used, reduced crit chance on main battery, reduced flood and fire chance, and for my commander, situational awareness, basic survivability, 15% faster flood, fire, and crit repair. For my tier 2s, I have faster turret traverse, I have a lower chance of fires with fire prevention, and then for my tier 3, lower cooldown on damage control. We are on the map Two Brothers. This is the first time I have shown you this map. Maybe you guys have not played on this map. First, right off the bat, it's a shark's tooth. I can't play this map without seeing the two islands forming a shark's tooth turned 90 degrees. And a little bit other, it's got a gap in between the two islands, so it's a suicide attack path. I don't know what they were thinking. All I know is every game, the carrier sends their aircraft over the islands and spots whoever tries to use that gap. I would prefer maybe there's a haze, a low smoke, maybe fog, so you can't scout any ships that head into the gap. You know, I don't know. It just seems like the gap is very predictable and you can exploit it because the ship does not have a lot of room to maneuver once they exit the gap or even when they're in it. Another feature, we're at the point of the shark's tooth over here on the west side. It's great for lying in wait and ambushing with torpedoes. The enemy might come over outside of the islands and you would have a close range torpedo attack. Very hard to maneuver out of. And then on the east side, you've got a little bit more of a standard open area with a couple islands. I personally prefer the west side just because of that, the way the point works. There's a couple more islands, and generally I find that a lot of battleships enjoy the eastern side, and anytime a battleship enjoys a side, I don't enjoy that side because I am in a cruiser or a destroyer. So Allied carrier has their fighters in the enemy base, and it looks like everyone is in their base with the exception of 3 ships that are going towards A or on A. And something else you might spot, this cruiser has what looks like a sonar with headsets. This ability will allow a cruiser to spot an enemy inside of smoke at a close range. So if you're sailing up to smoke, you would pop this. It lasts for 40 seconds. It would increase your view distance for a short distance so you can see into the smoke and spot an enemy that might be using it to hide. It's very short, like 3 kilometers short. So you don't want to use it unless you're basically right on top of the smoke, which could lead to your death. And that damn enemy takes out our propulsion. We have to use damage control, clearly. And we're just trying to survive. And I don't like loading AP when the enemy is maneuvering. High chance that they will remain angled. So I tend to use HE. And we're able to critically damage a module on the Omaha. And he's okay. We're just going to try and get him as low as we can. In this situation, you probably should switch to AP. He's broadside, he's not maneuvering, and it's a pretty easy shot. But there's so many enemies in the area, and I was trying to set him back on fire. I know he uses damage control because he's been set on fire. So I'd really like it if he'd burn. But we're not going to get a burn out of him. And he Looks like a couple of the enemy are making for that gap. Questionable decision. I would not recommend the gap, and you'll probably see later on why. And the camera bugs out there. So we're just going to unload on the Arkansas Beta, try and get him lit on fire. He's a tier 4. He doesn't have any AA. He's very susceptible to a lot of different things. He's a premium beta ship. Oh, we set him on fire. He's basically the Wyoming without any upgrades. He's maneuvering so he doesn't take any torpedoes. Don't blame him. But we're not really an ideal situation. We're going to start having to deal with this island. And this is probably the last shot. Yep, this is going to be the last shot. Where I have an angle for the rounds to hit the target. I need to turn. And I'm just checking, and I can see that there's an enemy cruiser rather close to C point. You gotta be careful about that. I don't know if he's run aground, but he's very close to the island, and you can see the shots, the angle, not ideal. Just trying to get anything on him. And I think this is gonna land on him. Yeah, there you go. Minimal damage. He's burning real bad. And he's got torpedoes coming. And it's just a question of, will the torpedoes beat it? Or will he burn down? Too close to call there. They were right at the finish line. The tick was ready to go. I don't know who got it. Fire or the torpedo. And yes, this enemy Cleveland thinks he can capture C right from under our noses. Not today, my friend. I'm gonna head back. Looks like I got 2 allies also heading back to fight him. But we can't lose C. C allows us to obviously hold control over the northern side of that gap. And it also gives us a little room to protect the carriers. He's nice and broad, ideal AP target, but I'm very far away and I would just love to set him on fire. Make him use damage control. And he's taken a lot of damage from that friendly Cleveland. We land all 6 of our shots. And come on, finish him off. Am I gonna finish him off? Ally gonna finish him off? Yeah. Oh, now what? Somehow, in between the back half of my rounds landing, the ally sneaks in that kill. But we kill him, you know, that's what matters, right? And it looks like there are 2 more enemies using that gap. Just not a good idea. Not a good idea to me. You can see how vulnerable they are. The gap on both sides is wide open to enemy attack. So if you're leaving the safety of the islands, you're putting yourself at risk. So a lot of times what you'll see and what these enemies end up doing is they are basically parked right next to the island where it juts out a little, and they can use that as cover. And unfortunately for me, I did not know that at the time when I sent out my torpedoes, but that's exactly what they're doing. They are not moving at all, and those torpedoes will pass by harmlessly. But at least you got them, right? The Japanese cruisers, torpedoes, you can see the range, it's great. 10 kilometers. And the speed's alright. But I would love to kill that scout plane so they don't know I'm on their flank. And it's just not going to happen. And I'm going to set up another attack with my torpedoes. This time it'll work. I know it. You know, maybe they think, oh, he sent out his torpedoes. There's none left. Well, that's not quite how I work. I've got a set on both sides of my ship, much like an American destroyer. So I sent out my starboard side torpedoes. This enemy Cleveland, he's got the zebra, the tiger stripes. accuracy is going to be a little degraded, but not too much, as you can see. And, you know, at this point I'm like, are we going to kill it before my torpedoes even get there? I mean, he's just taking tons of damage, and that's what happens. Probably should have kept doing HE just because he's angled. And yeah, these are going to be ineffective at an angled target. Yeah. The torpedo does tons of damage and causes flooding. But I should definitely use AP on that Omaha. The Omaha is a much better target. And you could hear, I believe the Omaha was using AP also, so that's why I'm kind of angled away from him. I have the advantage. If he's going to stick with AP, yeah, these are going to be hard shots for him to penetrate. And he's broad. These are easy shots for me to penetrate. And right from the split second, I thought he was going to commit to a harsh turn. But he doesn't. He turns back. And we're still doing great damage. We just need that golden ticket. Come on. Let's get a Citadel penetration and end this ship. Yes! Right in the center, at the waterline. Yeah. 2 ships dead. We're the only ship in this area protecting those carriers. It's vitally important that we destroy this enemy battleship and survive. If we die, he could capture C. He could push on to take out the 2 carriers, and the battle could swing. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've got a friendly battleship using the gap too.
Our victory is in sight.
Now that might be an acceptable strategy to use. Using the gap when there's very low amount of ships on the map and you're trying to ambush a target, because they're not going to expect it. They're going to expect you to be sailing normal, and you'll be able to hit them at their flank, just like he's trying to do. This battleship has committed to firing on the friendly battleship in the gap, so I get free shots. I'm just going to unload HE to set them on fire, and we're going to see how much damage we can do. The gap, also at this late stage, basically makes the carriers ineffective. There's very little room to maneuver your fighters, your bombers, your torpedo bombers, to attack a target in that gap. And yep, this battleship's like, there's nothing else except for this enemy right in front of me. He set his front on fire, and I don't think he's got damage control. Based on him not putting it out, and we're just landing big old shots. We'd love to spread out this fire, make the dot do more. He finishes off the friendly battleship, and he's clearly trying to rotate those guns into position. They were angled port side, so he's got to do a 180, and we're just going to unload. I mean, 2.7k every salvo. He's got at least 2 fire dots on. This could be it to kill him. He gets a good shot. Ooh! Oh, we take okay damage. And he burns down. I think he was using HE on us. And that's weird. But we're alive. We protect C. Devastation by sea. There's like 10 ships that died there. The enemy aircraft carrier is headed for that gap in between the island at the top half of the Shark's Tooth. So we're hoping that we'll have a chance to fire on this guy before the game ends. But if we don't get a chance, it's been a pretty good game. We're able to survive, do a lot of damage, and we're able to kill all those ships that tried to come through the gap. And my thoughts on Two Brothers. It's really early. I like the theme. I don't know if I like the placement of the islands. I think the gap is no man's land for a lot of the game, and I don't think the map should be designed like that. and we're able to really help our team win. Something like 60k damage, all totaled. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you guys next time.